What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Money's Funko Pops. I am, of course, Money, and with San Diego Comic-Con 2020 right around the corner, I thought that it would be a lot of fun for me to go ahead and show you guys all of my San Diego Comic-Con pops that I've picked up over the course of my time in the Funko community. So in this video, I'm going to be going in chronological order. I'm going to be showing you guys all the pops that I've picked up from my first year in the community all the way up to last year, San Diego Comic-Con of 2019. So San Diego Comic-Con 2016 is a very special Comic-Con to me because it was the first one that I ever did. So this was not only my first year collecting, but it was my first year going out and hunting pops for a Comic-Con. So the only thing that I still have in my collection here is the Sex Bomb 3-pack from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. If you guys want to hear about how I got this in person, I will go ahead and link my top 10 most valuable pops 2020 edition video at the end of this one, where I tell you guys how I was able to grab this thing for retail and how actually lucky I am that I was able to pick it up in the first place. So Scott Pilgrim is one of my favorite movies of all time. I talk about it all the time here on the channel. So this was the first pop that I thought I needed for my Scott Pilgrim collection, and it was the first thing that kicked off that collection. I went out and I got this, and then I picked up the 3 commons, and from there it just spiraled completely out of control. But this wasn't the only San Diego Comic-Con exclusive I got that year. I got the Burning Walker, which was shared with GameStop from The Walking Dead. I also picked up the Patriotic Snoopy from Barnes & Noble, and those no longer are in my collection because I don't collect those sets anymore. So this is really the only 2016 exclusive that I have left in my collection. 2017, in my opinion, was the best San Diego Comic-Con that we have ever gotten. The exclusives were on point. Some of them were very hard to get, some of them were very easy to get, and it was a real community feel during that time, in my opinion. So to start it off here, we have Hey Hey from Moana. Moana is a set that I strive to 100%, but none of them are really worth a lot of money, so I kind of pick them up here and there. I do have one with the con sticker, which is pretty cool, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I picked this up from Amazon with the shared sticker, but the sticker peeled off because the box is a little bloated, so I went online and I printed out, or excuse me, I purchased one of the replacement stickers for it. I'm not gonna lie, just being transparent about it. During that morning, I went out with one of my good friends, Gamry, and we went hunting. He was after some of the Harry Potter pops. We were picking some up for Danny, and then I was also picking some up for myself because there were a couple that I needed to get my hands on. The first one was shared with Hot Topic, and it was Nega Scott, of course, for my Scott Pilgrim collection. As I said, this was shared with Hot Topic, and it is probably one of the least valuable pops from the Scott Pilgrim set because it is actually one of the only Comic-Con pops from this set that isn't shared with the Funko shop, which I thought was pretty interesting. Another Scott Pilgrim pop that went up on sale that morning, and this is actually kind of sad because Toys R Us isn't around anymore. This is the Toys R Us exclusive Scott Pilgrim in the Plum Tree shirt. So there's a really funny story behind this one. Fans weren't actually sure how this was going to work out. This and a Marvel, I believe it was X-23, was supposed to be first to market, shared with the Comic-Con, and then it was a Toys R Us exclusive pre-release launch, and then it ended up being exclusive but wasn't going to show up in stores and ended up with the Toys R Us sticker on it. So there was a lot of confusion at this time about where it was going to go and how it was going to release. And during 2017 San Diego Comic-Con, the Funko shop operated completely different. So essentially how it worked is it wasn't like, okay, 10 a.m. Eastern time, the Funko shop is going to drop with every exclusive. Rather, it was, okay, here's a list of what's coming. From 10 a.m. Thursday until 10 a.m. on Sunday, we're going to be dropping one of these pops randomly every hour. So we, the fans, had to guess what was going to go up at what time, and it was a fucking disaster. It was awful. It was terrible trying to guess what was going to happen and when it was going to go live. So it was just a really, really frustrating thing for us fans. The one thing that I was able to grab during this time, because I luckily happened to be on my lunch break from work when it went live, was the 2,500 piece count, 2,000 piece count, excuse me, Scott Pilgrim with the sword here. So this was a Funko Shop exclusive, and it is limited to 2,000 pieces. And as you guys can see, it is just Nega Scott colored, basically. And that was probably an easy thing for them to do, but they did Nega Scott to Hot Topic, then the piece counted one to the Funko Shop. And it wasn't the only Funko Shop exclusive from Scott Pilgrim. We also had Roxy here, which is the 2,500 piece count. So this went up on the Funko Shop, and I missed out on it, and I was so pissed off. I was like, this is such a shitty way to do it. You don't know what time the pop you want is going to go live. It was so random, and there was no real reason behind it. So Luckily for me, I was able to grab the Happy Happy Joy Joy 2-pack from Ren and Stimpy, and then I found somebody who missed out on that, and we were able to do a 1-for-1 trade on a Facebook group. And then the last thing that I picked up from San Diego Comic-Con 2017 was actually one that I picked up later down the line, and that is the Blue Flock Scooby-Doo, which I talk about how I was able to do a really good trade for this thing because this thing is worth a lot of money. I was able to trade my Bullseye from Target for this thing, which is pretty crazy if you ask me, because the values on these kind of were equal, and Scooby went up and Bullseye kind of went down. So 2017 came to an end and another year went by, and then we moved into 2018, which has probably one of my favorite shared stickers of all time. I love the red on the 2018 sticker with the little silver border. I think it's just a really nice colorway, and I really like a lot of the pops that came out this year, so there was a lot of stuff that I picked up, so much so that we're going to go ahead and kind of move some of these things out of the way just for the sake of making room here. So I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan, so when they did Ron with the cornrows, you know that I had to get it. This was shared with Hot Topic, and it was probably one of the easiest ones to get that Comic-Con. I thought that this was a really interesting choice in the first place because it had been so long since we had gotten a Parks and Rec pop. That initial wave launched, there were some chases that were canceled, and then it was kind of just silence from there on out. And then this guy showed up, and I'm really happy that he did. The Parks and Rec line is very interesting to kind of dive into the history of it, so it was kind of awesome for me to be able to get this, but at the same time it was also kind of random in my opinion. The next pop that I picked up was Kraglin from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which was a pop that I absolutely had to get my hands on. I knew the second that they announced this that I needed it for my Guardians of the Galaxy set. So I am a huge Marvel fan. I'm specifically a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan, and I love that they did Kraglin with Yondu's arrow. This comes right after Yondu from Emerald City Comic-Con, so for me it was awesome to be able to get Yondu from Emerald City and then be able to pick up Kraglin as well just to Comic-Con after. And it actually wasn't the only Marvel pop that I picked up from San Diego Comic-Con this year. I actually also grabbed Taika Waititi, which was a Funko Shop exclusive limited to 3,000 pieces. And I actually didn't grab this one on the Funko Shop because it sold out. So I wasn't able to grab that on the Funko Shop that morning because it sold out so quick. However, I'm lucky enough to have a couple friends who were able to chip in for a birthday gift for me, so I'm really thankful for that, and I was able to grab Taika Waititi for my Thor Ragnarok set. Another pop that I picked up for this year was the Edna Jack Jack from The Incredibles 2. This came out right after the movie, so I was really excited to be able to grab this. The Incredibles 1 was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid, and I feel like they didn't do enough pops for that first movie. So when they went ahead and started doing so many pops for this second Incredibles movie, I was like, okay, I gotta get all of them. So grabbing this Jack Jack was an easy thing for me. I do kind of regret getting it the day of on Amazon because it was full price, and now this thing kind of retails for I think like $6, I want to say. But I think I would have rather it have been a regular Edna mode. I mean, we only have that original one from the Disney box set, which goes for probably about $300, and I was so excited to hopefully have gotten a new Edna for this set. And then the last thing that I picked up for San Diego Comic-Con 2018 is, you can probably guess it, it's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Here we have the Matthew Patel and Demon Chick 2-pack, which was shared with the Funko Shop, and this is actually not a piece count. This is one of the first Funko Pop releases for the Funko Shop from this set that was not a piece count, which I always thought was really interesting because a majority of the Scott Pilgrim set is piece counted. It is hard to get. And these are all the 2018 exclusives that I have currently in my collection. There were a couple that I had at the time. I had picked up the Thor Ragnarok Valkyrie and Thor. I believe Thor was to Amazon and Valkyrie was to Hot Topic, but I did let go of those later on because I didn't necessarily need them in the collection. And then that takes us to San Diego Comic-Con 2019. We're at last year's convention, and it was my first year having a YouTube channel, so I did a whole big hunt video for that here on the channel, and honestly, it kind of felt like a waste in my opinion because there was not a lot of stuff on there that I liked. So the first thing that I did was drive an hour and a half to the closest box lunch to me to be able to grab Moana, Pua, and Hey Hey on this boat from Moana. Now, I took this out of the box for the sake of space, but it still is a pretty cool pop. If you have this, I recommend taking it out of the box because you're missing out on a lot of detail on it, because it does come in the box kind of a little crooked, so you really don't get to see the whole full effect here. Like I said, we drove all the way to a box lunch near me, which is a state over. We were hoping to get the Ghost Gotenks for a friend of ours, and then we were also trying to get the Carl and Ellie 2-pack from Up for Danny, which sold out nearly immediately. And then honestly, guys, the rest of the stuff that I got, I picked up online. There wasn't anything else in person I wanted to get my hands on, so the rest of this stuff I picked up online. The first thing being the Walgreens exclusive Wong from Avengers Endgame, which was probably one of my biggest wants on this list. And kind of looking back at it, this was probably my biggest want in general. The Moana ride is really cool. I really liked the detail on it, but this Wong is just so sick. It pairs well with the San Diego Comic-Con 2016 Doctor Strange. And honestly, this pop is just sick. I feel like Wong doesn't get enough representation. He's only in Avengers Endgame for a little amount of time, but I love that they went ahead and did a pop of him. The next thing that I picked up online last year was the Vegan Police 2-pack from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And just like the Matthew Patel and Demon Chick 2-pack, this thing does not go for a lot of money as well. It's very, very low, was not a piece count, and honestly, it's a really funny moment from the movie, don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, it felt like a waste. At this point, we still hadn't gotten Wallace. We still don't have young Neil. So in my opinion, this felt like a waste at the time. I don't know. I kind of only got it for the sake of keeping my Scott Pilgrim at 100%. And then a couple days after San Diego Comic-Con, Danny and I actually took a vacation to Maine, where we went away for a long weekend to celebrate our anniversary. And we went crazy trying to find this goddamn glow-in-the-dark loot llama from Fortnite, because I just wanted it for my collection for some reason, and a year later, it's still fucking here. So the basic story here is that Walmart was getting these displays of all these different Big Bang Theory pops alongside of these loot llama, and we just couldn't find it. We stopped at a Walmart down the street from where we were staying a couple times on our vacation, and they never got it in. We never saw this thing in person, but I was able to catch an online restock and snagged it for retail. I think I added like some deodorant onto it or something to get free shipping, but this is how small my want list was from San Diego Comic-Con last year. There were not a lot of things that I needed to have, and honestly, looking back at it, if you kind of take these away, these were really the only two things that I really needed to have. And here it is, guys. After 4 years of being in the community, after selling some of these pops that I picked up for the sake of just getting them, this is my entire catalog of San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, and I want to hear from you guys down below in the comments. Which is your favorite San Diego Comic-Con pop in your collection? Is it something here that I showed off, or is it something that I don't have that you love? Make sure you drop me a comment down below and let me know which San Diego Comic-Con pop is your favorite. I hope everybody has a lot of luck with hunting their exclusives this year. I know the Funko shop is probably going to be a nightmare trying to get them. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support, and I will absolutely be seeing you guys soon. What's up, guys? Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more content that I post here to the channel. Down below me, there are two different videos. You have my suggestion, which is the video that I suggest you watch, or you can click next video, which will take you to a video very similar to the one that you just watched. So thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you soon.